Hello, fellow magicians. Today I'm going to tell you strategies of how to avoid engaging with drama and with negative emotions. So stay tuned and I'll teach you how. Life is a battle, and spirituality is the toolkit you need to survive it. Through my own personal experience, I will show you how to live spirituality on a daily basis. This is also the journal of the Averamento Sustainable Community, an experiment on human evolution, seeking to create a different type of human society based on sacred principles. Hello, fellow magicians, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to make this video, although it doesn't follow the sequence that I wanted with the other two that I already released. I wanted to do this specific chapter because it's about an event that happened to me on St. Valentine's Day, the day prior to St. Valentine's. And the story goes that on February 13th, I had to go to Quito because I've been having, I'm treating my teeth with my dentist, and so I had to go there. And usually when I go to Quito, what I do is I hire a transportation service. And it's a car, and usually, there's 4 passengers. Well, 3. So there's the driver, 2 others, and myself. And so in this occasion, there were 2 other ladies in the car when I got into the car. There was a woman in the front seat and another one in the back. When I got into the car, I saw that the woman that was next to me, she was laying all over the place. It seemed like she was tired or something, like she was trying to sleep and take the whole seat for herself, or it seemed like she wanted to do that. But in any case, so I got into the car, and like 30 minutes after we left Puyo, when we were driving, the woman that was next to me, she spread her legs or stretched her legs all the way to where I was, and she was actually stepping on my foot. So I waited for a few minutes, and she didn't remove the leg. So I asked her, "Could you please remove your leg because you're stepping on my foot?" That simple request opened a can of worms because she started saying things and even using terms that are not really polite, raising her voice and whatnot. And at some point, the woman in front got engaged as well, because it turns out that they were siblings. So I got yelled at, I was called names, I was called stuck up, and that I was mistreating them, just with that simple request of, "Could you please remove your leg because you're stepping on my foot?" In any case, I got yelled at, screamed, and whatnot. So what I did is I just told them to please shut up, and I just put my earplugs on and started listening to my music. And this story is important because, that whole event could have ruined my day in Quito, and I actually needed a lot of energy because I was going to do a lot of things, and also I was going to see friends and wanted to spend some nice time with them. And so that's when I started remembering my training, because obviously, at some point in life you will have interactions like this with people, and what you should do and learn is strategies of how to deal with them. And so there are 3 main things that you can do when you're dealing with situations that are like this. First of all, I'm not going to tell you that it was a pleasant experience. Of course, you're going to get angry and anxious and whatnot, right? Because you're engaging into that moment and having feelings about what's happening at that point in time. But you shouldn't actually get hooked in other people's dramas, because that's going to drain your energy. So these are the 3 things that I recommend doing whenever you're in a situation like that. First of all, all the things that these two women were saying about myself, they didn't actually have to do with me. All the things that they were saying that I supposedly am are not true. I am not what they were saying I was. And that's one of the first things that you should do. Whatever the people like that are saying is not a reflection about you. It doesn't have to do with you. It's just a reflection of them, their self-esteem, their low self-esteem in this case, or their whatever situation they were dealing with. But it's a reflection of them, and it has to do with them and their dramas and their issues, and it has nothing to do with you. And these people can't say much about how you are because they hardly know you. You hardly know each other, so you can't say anything about anything. You can't qualify a person if you don't know them. So that's the first thing. You shouldn't take anything of what these people are going to tell you as something personal. You should take it as a reflection of themselves and their issues and their dramas. And so do not believe for just not even an instant whatever people like that are saying about you. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you should do is you shouldn't engage emotionally. And what I mean with that is that you shouldn't invest in that event more emotions than what is needed. Yes, you're going to get frustrated and angry and whatnot when at the specific moment that this is happening. But beyond that, you shouldn't think about it. You shouldn't, reflect on it. Yeah, you should just leave it as is, and that's it. So don't invest yourself emotionally into this beyond the point of what happened, right? Beyond, you feeling uncomfortable at that point in time. You shouldn't get more involved into that beyond that, emotionally invested into it. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is that you shouldn't try to change the situation or win it or prove that you're right or prove that the other people are wrong or prove anything about it. You should leave it. You should just step outside of that and hope that it ends as soon as possible. And so, again, the three strategies is, first of all, do not believe anything of the things that these people are telling about you because they don't know you. Do not engage emotionally or invest yourself emotionally. And thirdly, don't try to change the situation, win the situation, prove that they're right, prove that you're wrong. Nothing. Don't. Don't try to do anything about the situation. Don't try to change them. And, just leave it. Try to walk away from the situation as soon and as fast as you can. And so it's interesting because after maybe an hour that we were on the ride and finally they shut up, the argument lasted maybe 5 to 10 minutes and no longer than that, because obviously I wasn't contributing to the situation, or I didn't want to do anything with it. I just wanted for them to shut up. After an hour of the ride, something wonderful happened that I actually took as a sign from the universe. We were driving behind this truck that had a phrase written on the back. And the phrase went something like, you shouldn't worry about what people say about you, because usually the trees that are most fruitful and most productive are the ones that receive the most stones, or the ones that get more stones thrown at. And so for me, that was beautiful because I took it as the universe actually agreeing with what I was doing, and agreeing with me not engaging in the situation and that. But if you need, when you're in this type of situation, there are physical things that you can do to actually help you remember these strategies. And then usually we usually have these reactions instinctively because they help us do something. And usually the reactions are to cross your leg like that or like that, and then to cover your or do this gesture with your hands because you're doing something, or you're going to cross your arms or do something like that, right? Or you can do also something like covering your belly button. And the reason why you're doing that instinctively, or this helps you kind of like is doing something. These gestures are actually helping you build a physical barrier between what's going on in the outside and yourself, and especially with the three first chakras, because those three first chakras are the ones that are going to be mostly engaged in situations like this. So that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to protect your third chakra or your first and second chakras. And it's important because whenever you're in this situation or in a situation like that, I recommend that you do this gesture. Maybe not crossing the legs, but maybe yes, covering your belly button somehow. One hand, two hands, something like that. And the reason why this is going to be useful is because this gesture is going to help you remember these strategies. When you do something physical to help you remember something that you want to do without the other people knowing what you're doing, usually something like that, like a specific gesture, is going to help. But that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to protect your first, second, and third chakras because you want to, again, you don't want to absorb the energy that is, coming from these people. You don't want to engage in their drama or anything like that. You don't want to engage in their energy. You want to step outside from it. And if they have issues, it's up to them to deal with those issues. It's not up to you. Those are their issues. And so after that, it was really nice because after that experience and what I read on the track, it was beautiful because I had a wonderful day. And I took that day as a gift from the universe because, being in this experience and in the trying to build a community and being in this process is not an easy path. It's hard. It requires a lot of physical and emotional and mental strength. So it's been a hard year, I would say. But this day was just beautiful. When I got to Quito, I went to the dentist. I bought some raw materials that I needed for my cosmetics because I do cosmetics. I do my own cosmetics. I'll tell you about that in another chapter. And then I had lunch with a friend of mine that I haven't seen in forever. I haven't seen her, I don't know for how long, maybe 15 years or something like that, because she went to live in Argentina. And both of us are writers. She's a writer and I'm a writer, and actually we exchanged books. And actually we agreed during lunch, we agreed to do a common project in common, so that's beautiful. And so after that, I went to a friend's office because it was close to where we were having lunch, and I worked the whole afternoon. It was very productive. And then after that, I went to see a concert. It was a concert by LP, and by the way, if you get a chance to see a concert by her, is wonderful. I mean, she's a fantastic musician and artist and performer. I mean, I wonder if she has opera training because of the potency of her voice is extraordinary. It was beautiful, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful way to end the day, and then not even that, but the next morning I had to come back to Puyo. So again, I took the same transportation service. And as I was waiting with my friend, because I slept at his house, as I was waiting for the car to come, I saw a guitar, and I didn't know that he played guitar. But yeah, he's learning, and he started singing and playing music for me. So I felt like serenade, and I took that whole experience as a wonderful gift from the universe, because as I said, being here is not easy. It has its hardships and is exhausting, actually, is tiring, but it was wonderful. So that's how, or what you can do to avoid engaging into people's drama. Those are my strategies and the things that I recommend you do when you have these situations, that you will encounter these situations. So even if you're a spiritual person, you can't avoid it, because these situations come up not necessarily because of you, but they come up because of the other people that you're interacting with. And it's usually because they're having a bad time, or they have low self-esteem, or something is going on in their lives that actually makes them do these things. But it's so that's how you have to learn to navigate these situations. And that's why I say that spirituality is a toolkit, and it's a toolkit that helps you improve the way that you move around in your life and the way that you interact with the things that happen in your life. And so, yeah, so those are my recommendations and the strategies that I use. And yeah, once again, thank you for being here and listening to my videos. And as usual, in the description of the comment, I'm going to leave a link to the community if you want to know more about the community. And please feel free to reach out, because I'm really interested in looking for potential people that are interested and want to form the community. And also, thank you very much for listening. And again, in the comments, you can write if you want me to, expand any of the topics that I touch here. Please write that in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to expand on any of the topics that you want me to expand. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next chapter.